Hi everyone, welcome to Deadline Dilemmas, brought to you by Fantasy Football Scout. How you doing, Prez?
I'm doing all
You're
right.
on
There was a
mute.
little bit of lag again, but I think we should be okay. Am I on
Okay,
mute?
let me see. I
No,
wonder
I'm
why
not on
this.
mute.
Okay, no, I think it was the lag. Apologies. Oh, I hope my technology doesn't play up. This is the. We had a bit of this last week. Can you hear me all right? Can anyone in the chat let me know if you can hear me okay?
I think they can hear us. Between us, there's a little bit of lag, but we'll just have to make do.
Okay, all right. Let's carry on, mate.
Yeah. So so those asking why there's a little bit of delay, it was obviously 1-0 to Bilbao or Athletic, and I was telling Mo, can we delay by 15 minutes? It's still squeaky bum time. But since then, basically 2 goals have gone in, Mason Mount and Casemiro. So yep, into the final, and it looks like it's going to be an all-English final with Spurs and Man United. How does that make you feel as a Liverpool fan?
I'm excited because these competitions are normally, without sounding bad, you watch them half-hearted, but that's made the final really exciting, especially for a neutral. It's a playoff, and there's so much riding on it because both teams are having a stinking season in the Premier League. But one of
It's like
them
a
is actually going to
Champions
get,
League bonanza. It'll be like a
yeah,
50 to 100 million pound game.
it's incredible. It's a huge stakes, like huge stakes. So from my perspective, it's the final I wanted. Yes. What about you? Your team's involved. You nervous?
Oh, no, of course I'm nervous, but I think I look at it as a little bit of an upside, because the season was completely rubbish. Like, we deserve no Europe, but then Spurs don't either. So
Yeah.
it's not like, one deserves it and one doesn't. Both don't deserve it. So I look at it as an upside. And if you get there, amazing. If you don't get there, we go again next year.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I'm not too fussed. As I said, I can watch it as a neutral and just fully enjoy it. Now, before we jump into this week here, Praz, I wanted to ask you, how did your last week go?
How did my last week go? It was
Yeah,
disappointing. I got a green arrow, so from
that's
a
not too
from
bad.
a from a big picture perspective, it was fine. But of course, the captaincy blank doesn't help, right? I mean, Mamouche or blanking on a Friday night, I was like, what is that? But then De Bruyne scoring was helpful for me as well because he's only 20-ish% owned, or he was last week. I think this week he'll be up to like 40-50%. But last week he was 20-ish%, and then in the early kickoff, Konza got a clean sheet. And so I was like sitting pretty because my two differentials in the week, those stars on live FPL, the players that you
Yeah.
want to do well. Well, De Bruyne and Konza both got the point. So it was never going to be a bad week. But then, a captaincy blank meant that it wasn't an amazing week. It was an okay week. How was yours?
Not great. I kind of messed up, to be honest. I had these moves planned after our deadline dilemmas last week. I had the moves in my head ready, and I done a deadline stream on my channel. And for some reason, I was answering questions and stuff. And in the last minute, I was flustered and went to make moves. Yeah, and I didn't get them right. It was a rookie mistake. So I left the captaincy on Salah,
What?
which meant I still had some hope. I know. So that was a big. That didn't work at all. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Because I watched the game expecting more. I mean, Nunes could have scored the goal, giving him an assist. But anyway, it wasn't great. And the move was going to be KDB, and he would have been captained as well. So
Dude.
I messed up, mate. I messed up. I can't lie to you. That one, I have to own that one and take that one on the chin. Yeah, it wasn't great. So hopefully this week I won't make the same mistakes. Yeah, it was poor.
It's
I
okay.
benched
Let's.
Konza.
You benched Konza. I'm so disappointed in you. More like
Yes,
this is
I
like.
benched him.
Can you like message me or team an hour before the deadline so we can just make sure that it's definitely the deadline dilemmas, not like on a Thursday I tell you something, I forget what
No,
I told you forget what I told you, and then you forgot to do the moves. I mean,
no.
it's not
Normally,
acceptable.
I'm very. I don't like leaving last minute stuff, to be honest. So I'm normally very ready. But as I said, I was doing something. I was very occupied, too excitable, and I just got it completely wrong. But it's a good
It's
segue into
fine.
this
It's
team
fine.
because some of those players might be coming in this week. So yeah, let me run you through my team. Then this week, I'm gonna take it
Before
all
before
in.
you go to your team, let's say hello
Yeah,
because we don't do a lot of live streams. So I can see
that's a good point.
Freddie, I can see Connor Ryan, I can see Ron John, Com. I see him a lot, so welcome back, Com. Freddie's there. He's a regular. Roberto, Yellow Army. He's there. Nick, Derek, and Busuno. Good to see you all. And you're sacrificing the elite, Europa League game. Uh, f- Oh, is it 3-1 now? Yes, 3-1. Haaland scored as well. So yeah, you're missing out on that great game that Man United has now won, and you're joining us. So thank you for joining.
Exactly as Pras said, thank you very much for joining us. And while you're here, please like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe.
Smooth.
Let me run you through my team and give you all my headaches for this week. Well, in fact, I'm not even looking at his headaches. There's 3 more game weeks. I have 3 magic beans. I thought you'd like that one. 3 magic beans left available for me for the remainder of the season, and I'm looking to take 1 week at a time and just go for it. So I'm going to enjoy the last 3 weeks, okay? So I've got Raya in goal against Liverpool. That's already a
As a
bad
captain.
start. Not as cap. Oh, that could change. That could change.
Okay. All right.
That could
Sorry.
change. We'll
Go
get
on.
there. Don't worry. That's all good. That's one of the discussion points this week, actually, which is very nice, like last week, captaincy. So Raya against Liverpool. And the back 3 is, who have I got? Munoz, Milenkovic, and Vardiol. That's the back 3. In midfield, I've got Eza, Salah, Murphy, and Mbumo. So Mbumo came in last week. That was the move instead of KDB in that lastminute.com. So, okay, it's not the worst move. It's okay. And then up front, I've got Mateta, Isaac, and Marmoush. On the bench, I've got Areola, Rodgers, Saliba, and Konsa. Praz's favorite defender, 3rd on my bench. So we won't talk about captaincy first. We'll talk about the moves. 1, I'm looking at being very aggressive each game week. There's no point looking at too much further planning now, is there? Especially how my season's gone. So I'm not gonna touch defense. The only way I'll touch defense here, Praz, is whether to move one of my defenders on there. If you think there's a better defender, maybe Konsa might be better than say.
No. You've got the perfect defense. Like
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, not perfect, but nobody has a perfect defense this week because Crystal Palace is a tough game. Everybody has Guardiola or a City defender. And yeah, I mean, Milenkovic is, you have a Forest cover as well. So in terms of keeper, I don't see there's a standout keeper this week unless you have like a Flecken or even Sells. But Raya's fine, right? I mean, it's okay. I wouldn't use the transfer there.
Totally agree. Eza, the captaincy, we'll talk about leave captaincy to last. We'll talk about that after we see your team. But Eza's been doing really well. That's one move that has gone well for me. Instead of Sarr, a lot of people went Sarr. I went with Eza. Even with that hideous run-up he does for that penalty. I was watching it sitting there thinking...
That was not a penalty, man. Not like a... That run-up was dodgy. Like, he even went
very
backward.
Dodgy.
So I was actually hoping as a Mateta owner that he should just, they should just say, no pen, like, take that again, and Eze goes, okay, now I need to change, and Mateta takes it. Imagine if that happened.
You know what? I wouldn't even be surprised. Where the season's gone, I would not be surprised.
And then
but
Mateta
luckily,
misses.
Yeah, that could happen as well. But no, you own Mateta, so that was never going to happen. But on Eze's side of things, I was very happy for that. And he had some other good... You know what? It could have been a bigger score, He hit, I think, crossbar. He had a really good game.
But then it was Sarr who was providing all those assists.
Yeah.
So Sarr missed a one-on-one that Eze provided as an assist.
Yeah.
And then Eze hit the crossbar on a Sarr assist. So as somebody who benched Sarr, I was not happy looking at that and what was going on. And basically, that is one of the reasons why I'm happy to play Sarr this week and not Mateta. Like, Sarr looks way more involved than Mateta.
Yeah, totally agree. Sarr looks involved for some reason. Eze at the moment is having the end product. Like, he's just getting on the board,
it's if you take away the penalties, it's not too different. Like, Eze's in a good patch, but I don't think if you're on Sarr and not Eze, it's not the end of the world, I feel.
No, you wouldn't panic and reverse it, for example.
No chance.
Switch them around. Salah's still in the team. Murphy. So I'll tell you about so I've gone through the team. Prospective transfers this week. Murphy's up there. I think his time's nearly up now. Fixtures are difficult. I like that Newcastle have the motivation for the top 4. No problem there. But I do think his time with the minutes, he's very frustrated. 60 minutes, he's just about reaching there at the moment. We're losing a big chunk.
In fact, he didn't make it, right, this week?
Yeah, he didn't even... That's what I mean. This season is tricky to get players that play 90 minutes. I know that, but at least get to 80 or 85. Give us a good chance. So he's on the chopping block. And as you can see, I've got 3 million in the bank. So in theory, I should be able to get to most places this week. Another option I'm considering as well. So Murphy, as I said to you, is on the chopping block. Another option is Mateta to either Wissa or Chris Wood, or even Cunha. There's quite a lot of options emerging there. From my perspective, I'll tell you where I'm at. I know Wood recently, so is it 1 return in the last 8? But that makes me maybe more appealing because the fixture's good and not a lot of people might touch him. So maybe bring him in captain. That's one thought was going through my head. What do you think about that?
I mean, if we're talking forwards, because forwards is like everyone's theme this week, right? So if you go to that solo and drop T chart, if you have it in front of you,
Yes.
that attacking one.
The teams.
So
No, where is it? This one, top projected scorers, or do you want the other one?
no, the next one. So I want the 3-week view. Yep, there you go.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is obviously Rob T's prepared it, and he's used the data from Solio Analytics, and essentially what this is telling you is the 3-game week projected goals. So we are used to seeing projected goals for per week, but I think seeing a projection also helps you plan a little bit. And I'm not saying plan like, this guy goes to this guy. You're looking at a 3-week view, because whoever you're getting in now, you're not going to use a transfer again on the same player, right? You're going to use 3 different players, fix 3 different problems. So now let's look at Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, 2.3 this week, is the second highest. No surprises. They're Leicester at home, right? But after this, 1.4, 1.3 is pretty poor. Oh, it's 4-1. Look at that. What a thrashing.
Wow.
So if you are going for a Chris Wood, you're basically putting all your chips in this week. So I would say if you're willing to captain him, like if you want to go all in, right? And if you look at now Rob T's goal scorer odds for this particular week, Chris Wood is like right up there. He's number 3, I think, if I remember correctly.
There we go. You're right. Yep.
So Haaland, Marmoush, Chris Wood, he's well higher than Wissa. Like look at Wissa 0.59, Wood is 0.75, higher than Isak, higher than Cunha, higher than Watkins. So if you're going for Wood, you're basically putting all your eggs on the game week 36 basket. And so I would say if you're feeling it, then captain him. And then going for Chris Wood makes sense. Because now if you go back to that Solio chart, now compare him with Brentford's attacking number. So that's 2.2 this week. So it's almost as good as Nottingham Forest. But then it's 1.8 and 1.5 compared to 1.4 and 1. So that's like 0.5, half a goal more just in 3 game weeks that Brentford is projected to score more than Nottingham Forest. So therefore, if you have a 3-week view and if you're not feeling Chris Wood captaincy, then I feel you can go for a Wissa. And that's going to be the popular move. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. A lot of people are going to be doing Mateta to Wissa this week.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that is the emerging move that everyone's going to go to. And I've considered it myself. Wissa he's gone under the radar. I think that's a popular term. And I looked at he's only blanked in 2 games in the last 10 or 12 fixtures. He really has been flying. I think we were all put off because we prefer his teammate that takes the penalties. But Wissa's definitely a great option. And I am considering him. I think that's one of the positions, going back to my team, that I think I could improve or make a gain. I'm not sure. So from my perspective, I'm looking to be very aggressive.
My team.
God, it's so similar. That's why. So it's so similar now after the wild card. But from my perspective, Pras, I'm trying to be as aggressive as possible. I mean, actually, did I calculate? Can I go from Murphy to KDB or not?
Not in one move, but you can do it for a hit if you do Mateta to Wissa. In fact, as soon as you showed me your team, the first thought that came to my head is, oh my God, you'll have to take a hit.
I know. I just noticed. I actually just noticed myself. Even though I thought 3 million in the bank, I'm going to be in a good position to be able to. Or guess what? I'll just go without him. KDB, for all of the reward was beautiful. 22 points for the ones that captained him. But he had 1 shot. And the previous game before that, he had 1 shot. I mean, the volume's not there. We know he's a top player.
You don't buy KDB for just the shots. You think you buy these guys for bonus potential, that they could do anything. Like he could be on a set piece. He takes corners from one side, or sometimes. So you basically take these players because if they get even an assist, they'll probably get 2 or 3 bonus. So it's a bit like an expensive Cunha, but playing Southampton this week. So I don't think it's a bad choice. It's a very good suggestion from Freddie as well. Like you could also think about getting a second Brentford midfielder. Like you could keep Mateta and you could get a Murphy to Sade, for example.
Yeah.
Or Bowen.
He's actually... Bowen, I considered him last week as well. I had 3 options and I ended up with Mbumo, which was the safe option, I suppose.
No, Mbumo was fine, man.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Completely nothing wrong with it at all. It's just now I'm thinking the KDB conundrum. Could I go without him this week? I possibly could. I mean, if I can't get that, I don't see myself taking a hit. I really don't see myself taking a hit. Unless, what do you think that's still the best move for me in my team?
Look, I'm on the fence on taking the hit, man. Like I think that, like I generally don't subscribe to people taking hits, but I feel like if you're getting De Bruyne in, and
Look where he is on the chart.
replace Mateta, I think that's quite an upgrade.
Yeah.
If I was you, though, I would probably just do Murphy to someone. It could be Bowen, it could be someone else, and play Mateta one more week, right? It's Spurs. Like, he could do
Yeah.
well against Spurs. Next week, while everybody goes for Wissa, you will have the option to go for Watkins. Because Watkins in Game Week 37, home to Spurs, is actually an amazing fixture. And you know what? What's cool about Watkins is he plays Spurs before the final, he plays Man United after the final. We know now
Yeah.
both those teams are in. So he's
Yeah.
actually going to play one team that is not going to give all because they have to prepare, and they have to play the other team that would have just won the Europa League, and so they'll be celebrating and stuff, so they won't have their eye on Game Week 38. And this was obviously, I'm kidding, Man United could win or lose the Europa League final, but if they win, then Watkins has 2 amazing games.
That's actually a good shout. And not a lot of people will be able to get there without maybe selling Isaac.
Yeah, if you go back to the Solio chart, one of the things that I was considering was, this week, should I just go Mateta straight to Watkins? But then if you look at it, like this week, Villa away to Bournemouth, 1.6 expected goals, you can see here. Crystal Palace away to Spurs is 1.7. So actually, Crystal Palace should score more goals compared to Villa this week. So if you're thinking about getting Watkins, you might as well hold Mateta 1 week and then go for Watkins a week later. It could be a fantastic differential when everybody's selling Mateta for Wissa. Of course, if you can get over the FOMO, then I think waiting a week, doing Mateta to Watkins could work out really well as well.
I think that at the moment, that's where I'm most likely. If I can't get to KDB, I can't see myself taking a hit. And while we're speaking about Man City, because obviously they're the hot topic, I've already got double, you've already tripled up. What do you think the implications of that Mr. Haaland appearing back, and what does it mean for another popular asset is Marmoush, who's been frustrating, actually dodging the points, and KDB? What do you think happens if Haaland does come back in?
Firstly, I'm still on the fence if Haaland comes back in or not, and I think KDB or Marmoush are both at risk in different ways. So Marmoush is could be a minutes issue. Now, we don't have any evidence to support this, because Marmoush was playing regularly when Haaland was playing, right?
Yep.
But then what is also changed is KDB is playing this number 10 role really well as well. So is it a case of that Pep just goes back to how he was playing? In that case, KDB becomes either plays a withdrawn role, or he plays the 10, but then Marmoush plays on the right. It's basically we go into uncharted territory, and it's an unknown. So if we get a leak that Haaland is starting, but we also get a leak that Marmoush and De Bruyne are starting, you just leave it, right? I mean, for me as a De Bruyne and Marmoush owner, I leave it, because I still have 2 attacking players playing Southampton. For people like you who don't have, it becomes tempting. Like, you could do Marmoush to Haaland, and then what do you need to downgrade to get to Haaland? I mean, could you do Mateta to Vardy?
Yeah, it'd have to be something like that to free up the money. Haaland is so expensive. God.
Or you might have to do Salah to De Bruyne, Marmoush to Haaland, something like that.
You know what? And that's actually a good cash cow right there, sitting there. The Mohamed Salah. At first, I was thinking, nah, I'm not going to sell him. The temptation with I know he's trying to break those records, but recently, Liverpool after that game didn't look that great against Chelsea. So that's a good shot. Maybe I could get rid of him as well. I just wanted to mention the Haaland point, because I think a lot of people are considering him being a bit of a differential if he does come back. Have you made plans? Just say if he does start this game. Have you made plans yourself, Pras?
So if he does start, then one of Marmoush or De Bruyne need to miss out for me to even think about it. Because if we don't get news about the others, then I'll just assume that De Bruyne and Marmoush are also starting. And so I'll play them, right? So I don't need to make plans. In fact, we can go to my team if you like. Because I already have De Bruyne, Marmoush, and Guardiola. So I have 3 Man City already. So it's not like I can quickly just do Isak up to Haaland and Salah down to somebody. I'll have to get rid of a Man City player. So that makes it a little bit more complicated for me to get Haaland. But then I'm also, if he's starting, how many minutes do you think he's going to get? Like, he usually gets 80, 90 minutes, but he's coming back after an injury. They want him fit and firing for the FA Cup final. And they also have the Club World Cup or the Club Cup, whatever it's called. And so that's after the season. So I sort of think he will be eased in. So I'd be shocked personally if he starts.
At that point, you mentioned the FA Cup, which is not far away against Crystal Palace, does make me think he will have to get some minutes if he's
He
going to
will
be
get
utilised
minutes.
there.
I think
Yeah,
he'll get minutes.
yeah,
He'll get 20, 30 minutes.
yeah.
And if he
Yeah.
starts, I think he gets 60, 70 minutes. So do you need to take a hit and break your team to get him? Like people with 2 free transfers, you have a massive edge if Haaland is starting. Other
Totally
people
agree.
will, because it takes a hit, they will hesitate, I feel.
Yeah, last 3 games of the season, you can't. I mean, if you're taking a hit, it's got to be. Well, actually, he does fit the criteria, captain material, I suppose. If you're bringing him in, and you've seen just on the projected, look how high up he is. that tells you if he does start. Look at the capability. Look what
You
he's
know,
capable
this is
of.
the fixture you and I triple captained him for.
Yeah, I know. We
He
got
was
unlucky.
he was 1.38 projected goals
Yeah.
in that home game.
Did we get just a assist? I can't remember now.
We
Or
got
did
one
we
goal. We got
one
one goal.
goal. All
6
right, it's
points.
not
No
there.
bonus.
Yeah.
No bonus.
Nothing. Look at that.
No.
You remember it detailed.
I
But
mean, it's fine.
and to be honest, that was the majority of my team. Like we're very. It's good. Even the subs
So
are
let's talk
healthy.
captaincy then. Who are you going to go for if you're if you get De Bruyne? If let's assume you don't get Haaland.
Yeah. I think if I bought KDB in, I'd captain him. That's the honest truth. I think I would. I think, yeah. Or maybe I'm thinking of last week. The options are my. Let me not talk about KDB. Let me talk what I've got in front of me here. You laughed at Eza captaincy. That's definitely a potential
I
against the
didn't
Spurs
laugh.
team.
I was just surprised. It's
Yeah,
quite
that's a
different.
potential. Yeah, I think that would be a potential. In fact, I've not checked where he is on the chart. I might see how far down he is, his predicted goals. But Mohamed Salah against Arsenal. I mean, I might have gone for it against Chelsea. I don't think I'm going to go for it against Arsenal. They're already going to be super upset and have to give the guard of honor. Just got knocked out of the Champions League. I think there'll be some pride on the line, so I don't fancy that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Salah captaincy?
I think Arteta's gonna give it a full go. I think it'll be the full
think-
team. And I think
I
Liverpool
think
will have a
so.
full team as well. So I'm actually looking forward to that game, even though it has nothing
Yeah.
that matters in it. So maybe it ends up being not such a great game, but I feel both teams will be full strength.
I think after that, Mbumo is possibly the safest captaincy this week. I think he's minutes.
Bumo will be the most captained.
I think so. It's difficult to like. It's the most sensible, almost. That's why most boring, dare I say it. But it's a perfect captaincy. So I could go him as well if I feel that. Marmoush, the great fixture, but I'm not sure about him as captaincy. I haven't captained him once. I just, for some reason, I do. I like him as a player.
No, I did actually in the double game week. He's fine, but now that he played a little bit on the right in the previous game, that's put me off. So I would not captain Mamouche. I would captain Bumo or De Bruyne, like if I was looking at my team. And if I was to go ultra different, then I could maybe look at in this team. Maybe in your case, Eze.
Yeah.
Maybe Guardiola. If you get a leak that Akanji is starting and he's playing left back, maybe Guardiola.
That's actually a very good shout. Because if he is, let me see, where is Eze? Is Eze actually even on this? Oh,
he's 18, number 18.
Yeah, it's a bit grim.
No, it's okay. Like between number 10 and number 18, there's not much in it.
Yeah, not that great. But yeah, let me go.
De Bruyne's pretty high.
De Bruyne is high. Yeah, he's high. He's high price. And the last thing on my team before, because we'll talk a bit more captaincy when it comes to your team as well. The bench. That was quite pivotal last week. I did bench points. I got it wrong. What do you think this week?
Look, I don't think you need to play a Villa picks this week. Genuinely. Like, I think them losing Tielemans, and this was in the news today, that Tielemans is now possibly out for the rest of the season. He's important. So Onana is not the same thing. So I would bench my Villa guys without hesitation. And Saliba as well. Like, I like the guys you're playing instead. You've already got Raya, right? So you've got one Arsenal cover, which I like. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I mean, I don't have Saliba, I have Kivior, but same thinking.
Let's segue onto your team. That's perfect, actually. You run through your team, mate.
So my bench is exactly like yours, so I don't need to talk about the bench again. I'm also playing Raya. Instead of your Milenkovic, I've got Livramento home to Chelsea, so that's not as good as yours, home to Leicester. Munoz and Guardiola, I'm still happy with. Then my midfield is, I would say, slightly better than yours because I've got De Bruyne instead of Murphy. But then you've got Eze instead of Sarr, so decent. I think Mbeumo captain this week feels a little bit locked to me. Like, I don't see any competing. Like, unless there is news that Haaland isn't starting, and it's the same setup as last game, then I like De Bruyne, but I just feel like I don't need to go against Boomer this week. Like last week, I felt it because it was a home game. De Bruyne and Mamouche away from home haven't really had the same output. So that's where I'd be on captaincy, and then Isak, Mamouche, Mateta. So my thinking is basically either save and hold Mateta for getting Watkins next week, or actually be a little bit more aggressive and get Wissa this week. So I'm leaning towards just getting Wissa.
What are you waiting for to make that move? Is there anything that's on your head that will make you just make that move?
I mean, I was waiting for tonight's games. I was waiting for the Champions League game. Now all the information is in. I mean, not all, because the press conferences could throw a curveball. So if let's assume there's no curveball whatsoever, I'm just gonna wait for leaks, right? Because look, what if Mamouche is benched? Then I might want to do Mamouche to Wissa instead of Mateta to Wissa. So there are things that you can consider depending on the City news, and we should get City's again the early kickoff. Not the early kickoff, it's a 3 p.m. game, but then there's a bunch of 3 p.m. games, and it's a later deadline this week. So that's what I'm waiting for. Like at this point in the season, right? I genuinely like judge people who are making early transfers. Like I'm sorry to say, and if you've made one, because look, I mean, there's a typo here. I've got 2.6 million in the bank. You have got 3 million in the bank.
I just realized
So,
that.
so we have got over 2.5 million in the bank, and we are living in a time where money is not important, man. The only thing that is important is information. So let's say you've made the transfer, like, okay, you've made Mateta to Wissa. And tomorrow, Arne Slot comes up and says, Salah has a little bit of a knock, and I think we'll give him the time off and, give him the rest of the season off. Imagine how seismic that is in terms of information. Of course, you can say, I'll just take a hit. But 4 points, giving up 4 points just for free, like when it didn't matter, just because you weren't patient enough to wait for press conferences or leaks, not acceptable. So that's just my position. Like, don't need to make any transfers. Chill out. Like, this is a chill part of the year. Wait till Saturday, decide your transfers on Saturday.
Says the man who's about to win this season.
Please.
Yes.
It's just hygiene, man. Like there's certain things. Chase team value.
Right.
Like I think team value is really important. You've seen how high my team value was, but then you've also seen later down the season, it's less and less important. So there's times you chase it, there's times you basically not even look at it. I haven't opened live FPL for about 4 game weeks.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement with you. 100%. I've done the same thing. So I'm totally in agreement with you. There's no point now. Now's the time to get the information. You can't afford to make that move. You'd be so upset. At least at the start of the season, you're being aggressive to try and make team value. But for now, no chance. So what's your take on Livramento? Are you happy about that? Is he not coming out your team? Or you're just thinking no chance, you're making defensive transfers like what I said? Is that not even in your
let's say
chance?
I did Livramento to Nico Williams or Milenkovic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I still want Livramento in game week 38 when he's home to Everton and Milenkovic is away to Chelsea. So, and I don't want to play Konza in game week 38 either. So basically, I like Livramento in game week 38. I like Guardiola for all the 3 weeks. I like Munoz this week. And I also like Munoz in game week 37 if he starts. And I think Munoz starts because he's home to Wolves. So each of my defenders will be valuable. Like Konza, I like for game week 37 when he's home to Tottenham. So all these guys will play a role in my team. And I don't want to use a transfer. Like I wish I had a Nottingham Forest defender this week, but sometimes you just have to prioritize. You've got 3 transfers left. Maybe Nottingham Forest concede. And if they don't concede, yeah, I'll give up 4 points to people who have Nottingham Forest defenders. Maybe Livramento keeps a clean sheet. So I'm not feeling it. I don't feel great not having Forest defense, but defense is not where I'm going to spend transfers.
And I want to ask you on, you touched on defense there, actually. Let's have a look. Projected clean sheets. Nottingham Forest are pretty high up this week, understandably. But they've struggled recently. Do you think they turn it around this week? They really have struggled. In fact, the top 5 is in jeopardy at the moment, which is not nice to see. I wanted them to do well.
There is a little bit of a form issue with Forest, I agree. But you know what's the perfect thing when you're not in form is to play Leicester at home. So, I mean, Leicester have been so poor from an attacking standpoint that if you want clean sheets, you pick defenders against Leicester. Like, okay, I know the whole Vardy thing and, his swan song and he needs one more goal for 200 goals and all of that. All nice. But if you're a rubbish team, you're a rubbish team. So, yeah, I think rightly Nottingham Forest clean sheet odds are very high. Oh, and by the way, Colm mentions there is also this thing of Murillo being injured in the last game.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
we're going to
point.
hear from Nuno on Murillo as well.
That's actually quite pivotal. He's outstanding. I can't believe how good he is. Like, I watch him. I'm surprised how. I'll be amazed if they keep him next season. He's that good. So impressed with him. I didn't think he'll be that good. He's quite small. Fought for a centre back, but he's so good on the ball as well.
He's very good on the ball. That's his main.
The
A
other,
bit like a Martinez, you know.
yeah. The other question I wanted to ask you as well. You touched on already Wissa, and he sounds like he's your favourite forward. And I think earlier on you answered a bit of this with regards to Wood. But where are you with Cunha? He's
I
quite a popular asset as well. Where are you with Cunha? When you look at Wolves'
I'm just afraid he misses a game, man. Like, you know what's happened is there was a period in which he was out, and then they had a very nice system going with Strand Larsen, Bellegarde, what is it, Munetsi, and then Bellegarde got injured, so Cunha came back in. Then Bellegarde got back, but Strand Larsen got injured in the last game. So I'm just worried that there is a game that Cunha misses because he was still happy with those other strikers. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and I know how important Cunha is. Like, you don't need to tell me, but I'm just basically saying Vitor Pereira might just do something because he knows he's leaving the club. You know, the last game, the last home game, Cunha doesn't start and the other guys start. Who knows, right? You know, like, Wolves are safe. I know Vissa's going to start 90 times 3. So,
that.
like, I love Cunha, man. Like, Cunha, whenever I've had him this year, he does well. Even on the free hit, poor guy. Like, I got him for 1 week. He's like, I'll get you double return. Triple return, in fact, he got.
I remember.
So I have nothing against him. And I think people who are chasing, I said this on the wire as well, people who are chasing might think instead of Vissa, I'll go Chris Wood and I'll chase. Go Cunha, man. Cunha's upside is high.
But this week, is it possible you could go Wood for this fixture and then Cunha? Or you think that's
How many transfers do you have? Like, if you have,
What?
if you give me 15 transfers, I would get Wood this week, and then I would get Cunha the week after. But if
No, but
you
even if you
have
don't,
3,
you're going to use those. You're going to use those transfers. You know, one of them. Or worst comes to worst, you have to take a hit. What are your projected? I mean, what are you realistically going to do with them? If that's the most aggressive move you can do that week, for example, chase Wood, and then get Cunha the week after.
I would then chase Evanilson in game week 38, who's home to Leicester. I would chase Saka in game week 38 for De Bruyne, who's away to Southampton. So I have my chasing picks against promoted sides, but I would not want to use it. Like, I would want to get a chasing pick now for 3 weeks, then get another one next week for 2 weeks, and then get another one in game week 38 as my 1 week. Not like use the same transfer on the same pick, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. That makes sense. And did you order them for me? So for you, it's Wissa and then Cunha, then Wood.
Yes.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I had a question in there from
Wissa, then Watkins, then Cunha, then Wood.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to put Watkins in the picture. You know, maybe I keep forgetting about him. You know,
Watkins, there's a couple of issues cropping up. One is his minutes. He was taken off on the 70th minute. Second, Tielemans is now out. So it's a little bit, I'm not sure, and I wanted to wait a week. This is why Watkins is a good option and second best for me, but only if you wait this week. So my option would be number 1, Mateta to Wissa. Number 2, hold Mateta for a week. Number 3, Mateta to Cunha. And in number 2, you basically do Mateta to Watkins next week.
Yeah, I like that. I'm not considered Watkins actually, but those fixtures. I mean, this week here though, this week here they're playing, isn't it, Bournemouth? It's not the ideal. It's not the best fixture,
this week,
is it?
this is why I'm saying you would not do that move this week. You would
this entry point.
You would do it next week. So, like, for example, in your team, fix your Murphy slot, get a Bowen, get a Sade, whoever you want, and then Mateta slot you fix next week. And if you're doing your transfer next week, the best pick. So let's go to expected goals next week on that Solio chart.
Yeah, this one here.
Who's got the highest expected goals next week?
It's Aston Villa.
There you go. That's why Watkins next week is a great shout. Captaincy shout if you wanted to go there.
I have to consider that. I won't leave it to the last minute. I'm not going to do that this time.
I mean, don't forget doing it.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. That was terrible. Don't mind me. That's once it's happened this season. There was a question in the. Go on, Press.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. There's a question in the chat on Wissa, on Igor or Thiago taking his minutes. So today, Thomas Frank actually confirmed that Thiago is not going to start a single game. And so yes, he might start. He might start on the bench and then get a few minutes. But so far, he's not taken any of Wissa's minutes, or anyone has. He's played 90, 90, 90. So I think that Sade goes off if Thiago comes on, and then Wissa moves to the left and something like that. Or maybe they play two up top. So it impacts Wissa a little bit indirectly, but I don't think it impacts the start.
Can you imagine the guy that we're talking about plays 90 minutes? I think it's the last 15 games or something. We all bring him in, and yeah, that would be a travesty. I'm in agreement with you. And maybe positionally, but not minutes. He's been too good this season.
Yeah.
There was another question in there by Nick. What do you think of Palmer? Someone else actually asked me this before I jumped on with you.
Do I need to justify my love for Palmer? Like I've been pushing for him on free hit. I've been pushing to keep him. Like he's a great pick, man. Like he's okay. He had a dip in form. His teammates weren't looking for him as much. Lack of confidence, all of that, fine. But see, one game against Liverpool, he should have got a 15-pointer.
Yeah, he had a very good performance, but you could flip it the other way. He was very lucky just to get a penalty as well.
Yeah,
I agree with you. That was it was very good performance. Our friend Flapjack had him captain. I mean, that luck there.
Yeah, I mean, you can also say that bad luck that when Palmer hit the post and when he had that chance created, I think who was it off, Neto or Jackson?
Yeah.
Come on, like, okay, him getting that penalty last minute and then getting 3 bonus points off. So that was an 8-point or 16-point penalty for captainers. But that's the luck. You're right. If you take high risk, you can get high reward. And this was a case where it was the case.
Yeah, fair. We'll give him that one there. I was only being sour because it was against my team. There's a super chat here from Davis family, Mateta to Wissa Okunya. I'll let you take that one, Praz. And did you want to answer that one?
I would not take a hit. I would do Mateta to somebody or roll is basically where I am with my team as well. I would just play either Saliba or Kiwior or even Van Bissaka this week. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Don't take a hit for a defender.
Yeah, I totally agree. No chance. There's another good question in there, actually. And it's at this stage of the season, should we target fixtures or form?
I think it's always fixtures. I feel it's always fixtures. When suddenly, now look, everybody's saying, oh, Nottingham Forest defense, it's looking so poor. It's looking so poor. I'm quite confident that they'll keep a clean sheet. So when fixtures come, the form also comes.
Yeah.
Of course, Palmer was an exception to the rule where he blanked against Southampton, Ipswich, and I think he got 1 assist against those 3 promoted teams at home. But there are exceptions. But yeah, sometimes it changes.
This one's not a question, but someone just said they want Spurs to win in the final. I thought I'd read that out for you, mate.
Let's block them from the channel.
Adam, is it still lagging? Is it all right now? I don't think I've heard anyone say it's lagging.
No,
Hopefully
it's been fine.
Okay.
It's been fine.
Okay, good. Okay, you've been checking yourself. That's good.
Yeah.
Another question, perhaps just before we finish off, because I think we're nearly done. We've covered everything, to be fair. Any thoughts regarding Amad Diallo? Seems he is slightly back. Would you consider?
No, I would not touch any Man United or Spurs player. It's a bit like how Arsenal were leading up to the PSG semi-final. It's like you will get some minutes, you could get a lucky return, but the minutes are very volatile. It could be anything from 5 minutes to 60 minutes. So why do you want to go there? There's lots of nice picks. Pick Sade if you really want that price. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. Even Rodgers is better. He's playing Spurs in Game Week 37. And there's one other question, actually. Last question that a lot of people have asked about Savinho. And there was a question above on Savinho to De Bruyne. Then Connor has asked thoughts on Savinho. You just have to wait for leaks, man. What can I say? Like, I don't think he starts. So let's say we were living in a world where Man City play on Monday. My advice would be to sell. But if he's starting, right? Imagine how much you'll regret it if you sold Savinho before he plays Southampton. Like this applies to any Man City player you have. No, even if you have Kovacic or if you have, Rico Lewis. Like, you have to see if there's any information out there closer to the deadline that tells you that their player is starting, and then you react accordingly. But on absent that, I would sell Savinho for De Bruyne, for example.
Totally agree. I think we discussed it last week, and I was a sell. He's been very difficult to judge the minutes of the wide players for Manchester City, and it's just too much headache for you. You'd be super frustrated. Fair play to you to trying to go there, be a bit different to get a City attacker, but as Pras said, you don't need that headache. And I think we've answered all the questions. Or was there one more in there we squeeze off before you jump off the...
Triple captaincy from Adam Clark. Who do you think out of all the weeks? Go to that Solio chart. Let's look at who has the highest expected goals out of all the weeks. I think it'd be
That's a
Man
good
City
shout.
this week, right?
Yeah, I think this would be the week you attack it. Where is it? Here we go.
So Man City are 3, then 2.2. Liverpool are 2.6. So you can look at Salah. Bournemouth are 2.7 expected goals, home to Leicester. So yeah,
Arsenal against Southampton at home. I think that would be a
2.4.
good one. Yeah.
Aston Villa home to Spurs in game week. So I would say De Bruyne this week if you are confident in doing that, or Bumo. Ollie Watkins next week, and then in game week 38, choose your fighter. Salah, could even be Kluivert, Evanilson, Saka. Yeah,
I think Saka will be very popular. Saka. Some might even go Martinelli, being very different. But I think Saka will be super popular.
Yep.
I think that's all of the questions answered, you know. We can actually finish off. It was a late one today. Thanks, lads. No problem at all. Really appreciate Saka triple captain 38. Exactly that, Freddie. That's what we were just talking about there. So listen, we're going to finish up there. Before you all jump off, do me a favor. Please like the stream, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And last thing for me to say is, listen, I wish you all good luck and see you next week.
See you all next